All right, my niggas. Happy Sunday. We got the Boruto episode. I'm gonna keep it real. It was alright. I like this episode better than the last episode, just because I feel like it achieved its goal when it comes to like this whole Boruto and he needs to train and get his shit right mentally more than anything. Because the last episode, I know we got some deeper and all that. Um, I don't know. I feel like it should have been a little bit more, because that was like Deepa's real debut. Like we know we got glimpses of him and shit. We knew his name already, but like this episode, the last episode, that was his actual like debut to me, in my opinion. But I felt like if you're gonna introduce, I know he's not even a main Kara member or anything like that, but I feel like you could still give him a little bit more sauce. You know, when put a little bit more something, some more little seasoning on the nigga if you're gonna bring him in, which kind of has me or leads me to believe that at least his main fight when it comes to him versus Konohamaru and all that shit, it should be good. But let me get to before I get any more to deeper, let me get into actual episode 164. You already know my routine, man. I go through this shit in a list sequentially based on how the episode, kind of aired itself. So let's get into this bitch. Number one on my list, man. So my first impression so far was there's like this interaction that between Boruto and Moujino that kind of continued throughout this whole episode, and we get this whole little scene, the very first scene. Moujino's kind of telling Boruto to stay on guard. You know, he's like, bruh, keep your head up, nigga. Keep your eyes open in these streets, basically. And then Boruto responds with the whole, I know that. Like, it's like, okay, we're still seeing visually that Boruto must mature. We know the nigga's talented. We know he's the motherfucking son of a god. But mentally, he still has to work on his emotional intelligence, you know? And then this whole jutsu, the Haze forbidden secret jutsu and shit, that's used. Someone got it right. I think it was Bara B. I'm pretty sure it was Bara B. I mean, it might have been on Naruto Explained, but whoever it was, they kind of guessed this. I don't know if it was any spoiler or anything like that, but they guessed that this was some type of jutsu similar to the Death Reaper seal. I would say that this version, though, was kind of lame. Like, this shit, like, the whole monster that appeared after it, it was like, dog, would you really sacrifice yourself for this jutsu? Like, it was kind of booty. Like, the monster itself was booty. Like, the abilities, the fastness, the absorption of the chakra, that was cool and shit, the speed, but the design of it itself was kind of like, all right. It kind of reminded me of the Damo, the little Damo toy, that brown bitch. But the burial monster looked weak. Number 3. So, Boruto spinning Rinnegan. Now, this move failed, but it was a beautiful like, it looked good. It looked good. And I was more so impressed by how fast the Rasengan kind of came out of Boruto's hand. I'm talking about when Boruto first goes to attack. As usual, the motherfucker, you know, he's always quick to the gun. He jumps to first attack the little chakra monster with the kunai. He misses, spins around kind of on some Allen Iverson shit, and then has like a Rasengan ready, and then of course it doesn't work and shit. This is when his chakra starts to get absorbed, and then Konohamaru comes through with his Rasengan, blasts off the arm. But like, we gotta say though, the potential for that move, if Boruto gets back into the dojo and works on his little craft, that move one day, I hope they bring that back, and I hope he perfects it. I hope that's like his little technique secret move. Like, I know it's not a new jutsu, but the way he kind of spun and did that shit, I loved it. It didn't work, but hopefully he practiced that more, and hopefully we see that again. Like, I want to see him do that shit against an Otsutsuki member. Then he absorbed the deer. Okay, that was kind of crazy when the chakra monster absorbed the deer. This is number 4. And I'm thinking this whole time, will Omoi die because they're trapped in this barrier, right? Because the barrier was pretty huge, and I'm like, all right, well, they were trying to chase after these villagers anyway, while Omoi was dealing with Deepa, but I'm thinking to myself, okay, there's going to be a chance eventually, like, if Omoi doesn't die, of course, Team 7 is going to come out the cut and save these motherfuckers. But I was starting to doubt that because, like, dog, you're trapped in a big-ass barrier. This monster's a little bit stronger than we kind of anticipated. So I'm thinking, okay, will this be the reason why Omoi dies? Will this be the reason why being in the barrier and shit, you know? Number 5 is, so I already touched on this shit. Is this jutsu worth this fucking sacrifice? Like, this shit look kind of lame, bruh. Konohamaru in the huddle was pretty much explaining like, dog, they must be desperate because these motherfuckers sacrificed their lives for this shit. And we kind of got the glimpse into the next episode. Boruto still doesn't get that concept. So I was at the credits. Usually I don't watch the ending credits and I don't see the preview of the next episodes. So forgive me, Naruto explained, because I kind of went into that comments and was like, bro, you spoiled Deepa versus Omoy, because I didn't see that the last, like, in a couple episodes ago, where they showed Omoy in the fucking, like, oh, on next episode type shit. So, like, on this next episode, we still see that Boruto doesn't get the concept that a shinobi dies for his fucking village. In the manga, we're kind of, learning that lesson via Sasuke through his words. Not necessarily, we don't know if the nigga gonna die or not. We don't know that shit, dog. We don't know. Okay, and then, all right, point 6. Now, this is kind of going back towards point 1. So, there's a scene where Moujino is like, Konoha, like, they're all in the huddle again. What are we gonna do about this monster? Moujino hits a deep-ass sigh. Like, Boruto's bickering with the motherfucker again. Moujino hits that before he starts to explain himself again. So we're starting to see that Moujino's getting frustrated. He's starting to become frustrated with Boruto and the way he's acting. So this is when they're talking about their plan. Moujino has a plan to go after the barrier as opposed to the chakra monster. Boruto's trying to have his little opinions and shit. And before we even get to this point, we kind of get to the thing where Moujino says, well, he's kind of explaining the monster and its ability. He's like, well, I know I don't have to explain that he's stealing chakra. And I want to say he kind of looked at Boruto, because it's kind of like, he's like expecting Boruto to say some more shit every time he speaks. He's expecting to get like down talked to and shit. He's like, yo, Boruto, stay in your fucking place, dog. And then it happened again when Boruto's like it's like almost simultaneously, like Boruto's like, well, I'm just trying to give suggestions too. I want to do, Boruto being a kid. And it seems like sometimes he's maturing and then sometimes he just gets more emotional and we kind of forget that he has matured, or he allows us to think that he's mature for a little bit and then he kind of reverts back into an old self. But, it's Boruto, dog. He's going to be raw. I'm going to drop a top 10 Naruto character list. And there's a few people on this list just based off potential and based off who I think they will be by the time they're fucking 16, dog. Because I see it in Boruto, dog. Boruto is going to be that nigga. Trust me. He's going to be one of the legendary shinobi out here, bitch. I already know, bro. Because niggas talk shit about Boruto as a TV show and as a character, but this nigga going to be the truth. Trust me. And then, all right, so we get into point 8. So this is after the whole bickering and shit. Moujino criticizes Konohamaru, which I think was pretty dope. He's telling him pretty much, man, you spoiled this fucking team, bro. They're always talking shit. They're not even coordinated. These motherfuckers always go off and do their own fucking thing type shit. And then on the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, but will Moujino be given the chance to be proven wrong? Because usually that's how this shit goes. So it's like, all right, he's talking this shit now, but like in the next couple of scenes, Boruto Team 7, they're going to do some crazy ass shit and Moujino's going to have to show him love, right? That's what I'm thinking. So... and then during this whole little argument, everyone's face is like stoned. Like they're all like, oh, we're getting scolded. Mitsuki's sitting there smiling like a little, like, I'm not going to say a retard because it's like, we know the boy's socially awkward, right? But it's like he only has the ability to be intelligent. He's definitely necessary. He's definitely a good ass shinobi. He's definitely up there when it comes to skill. But it's like, dog, sometimes if you look at the motherfucker, you're like, this fucking retard is like, but that's your nigga though. It's like if you have one of those friends who's a dumbass, but you gotta love him. He's one of those dudes. But he's like, it's not his fault. It's not my nigga Mitsuki's fault. Number 10, the monster's ruby crack. So Sarada hits that nigga in the chest, and I'm thinking, okay, does that have something to do with the barrier? Because that kind of cracked, and I thought it kind of broke the barrier because when they did a scene, like after he gets punched and he goes back and I think he knocks down a tree or some shit, they like show a scene of just all trees and I didn't see the barrier. So I'm thinking, okay, sorry to fucking release the shit. But then we learned it's not released. And I'm thinking Omoy was going to die again. And what the fuck? I forgot to write it, but like it's the monster was conscious. The monster was very conscious because Konohamaru had came to a conclusion that it seemed to be just going after anything that could allow it to consume its chakra. It seemed like it was random. But then to me, that was debunked because when the monster kind of was recovering, he looked up at the fucking barrier. It's cracked and shit, and his eyes opened up. He was like, oh shit, someone's trying to break the fuck out. So he straight fucking gasses to them. He just goes straight forward. To me, that's a conscious decision. It's not so random. So even to when he was hurt and he went to go chase the fucking deer, that was a conscious decision. He, decided, and there was bears and shit. The nigga even ate a fucking bear. So that was all conscious. It wasn't like he was doing this on a whim. He wasn't just this beast, And I'm thinking again, Omui will die. 11, we get to Moujino when he starts talking like, all right, we got to switch up the plan, bruh. And I'm thinking, oh shit, is Moujino going to sacrifice himself? Is this going to be some type of alternate version of the story that we all know? Is this going to be how they explain this, and that? Are we getting closer to, chapter 15, But I'm remembering how chapter 15 starts off, and no. So number 12, the Rasengan. Of course, the Rasengan saves the fucking day. Yeah, this is number 12. The Rasengan saves the day, just like in the manga. It just seems like sometimes I just want this shit to end differently. Sometimes I want them to use something else. Like this nigga Boruto, I know the Rasengan's the shit, and I know his version is probably the best. Konohamaru's up there too, because that nigga learned his shit when he was young. And it even develops quicker. Like his is a lot more mature than Boruto's. Boruto's is slightly different. I guess it's his own style. But I just wish they, just do something different, dog. We tired of seeing the Rasengan, save the day. I know it's his signature move, but at least for me, it's like, come on, dog, do something. Kick the nigga in the face or some shit. Like, I mean, Boruto was knocking niggas out. When we first got into this arc, Boruto was hitting niggas with elbows and shit, knocking niggas out, telling them to go to sleep and shit. But, and then Moujino, at the end of the day, because I was thinking it was going to be a whole nother thing. It was Moujino who kind of scolded them once again at the end of the episode, explaining what his whole plan and shit was. Like, dog, I had this plan from the jump. I knew I had enough chakra to, take on the beast if it had to be that way. And I knew I was going to sacrifice myself just enough. Which I thought was a good little cherry on top for this episode, because I'm so used to like Boruto, going against what people are telling him, and then, proving himself right, proving other people right, proving people that he's, strong enough, capable enough shinobi. And that didn't happen in this episode. This episode, he got G-checked and shit, My nigga Moujino was like, dog, you gotta, stay in your lane, dog. We know you're the fucking truth. You got potential, my nigga. But, learn some shit. Take some time to learn some shit. You're still a young man, nigga. And then we got Deepa. This is my last point, Deepa. So I'm starting to think like like I want to say Bara. It was either Bara B or it was Naruto Explained that kind of compared this guy Deepa to Mike Tyson. He's knocking people out and shit, right? But I'm starting to think it's a mixture of like the metal he wears on his hands and shit, like that's a tool, but his physical force, like his speed and all that, his speed and power mixed with the tools that he wears allows him to like impale people, because I don't think they were really showing that. They were showing him like one punching people and shit and then that being it. But now we're knowing that, okay, he's actually stabbing people. His arms are going through people when he's attacking. And Omoi almost dies, right? He's ready to sacrifice. He's like telling his team, don't say shit to this motherfucker, bruh. Don't say a motherfucking word, nigga. I'm ready to die for this shit. And he's about to get impaled in the neck, but his team lets him down. His team's like, wait, no. They're in the haze. Deepa goes to kill them. Now, this is my whole point I'm trying to make about Deepa. Deepa is just like a loose cannon, bruh. Because we've never seen him, he allows Omoi to live, right? He throws him to the side and said, all right, I'll let you live, nigga. And that's the first time we let him see, like, that's the first person. Maybe Omoi's like the first person he ever lets live. And I hope that they, add that into some type of dialogue in the next episode. Because remember, Deepa has said, whoever has seen his face has died. So Omoi is going to be the first ever survivor of Deepa. Because I'm pretty sure, like, Team 7's going to come through and shit, blah, blah, blah. He's just going to, like, crawl away or send a fucking message back to his village and shit, get reinforcements for them and blah, 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 blah. Because Boruto and Team 7 have to still fight the Hayes village. Deepa's probably they're going to interact. It's going to be a hodgepodge of fighting and shit. But it's going to be like a Royal Rumble because they all want the same thing. So we'll see. Do you guys think Deepa will ever be in possession of the Hashirama cell at all? Do you guys think? Will Deepa be successful in his mission? What do y'all guys think? Because that could very much happen. He could just play in the cut, let those two tire himself out. Because we already know Moujino's chakra is kind of gone. Boruto's chakra is a little bit gone. Konohamaru's, a little bit battle fatigued and shit. Deepa's the only one that's been chilling. Deepa probably has the most chakra out of anybody, man. The longest fight he's been in is in Omoy, and he was kind of talking shit about that nigga. He was like saying, "Bro, I thought you was better than this. You was talking all that shit, and I'm over here whooping that ass. I'll let you live, dog." So I feel like Deepa's gonna have the advantage. He may even be successful. He may run away with that Hashirama cell. And I won't be mad. I will not be mad. So let's say, because I was thinking, does Deepa have to catch a body? Does he have to kill? Who does he have to kill? Does he have to kill someone prevalent to be enough for the viewers, Because Deepa's just a character to me. Like, I was excited, going into this, but as things are dragging on, I don't know if it's a pacing issue. Like I said, I'm enjoying the episodes. I love the manga and everything, but it's kind of like I want a little bit more. I don't know if it's because I'm eager. I don't know if is it because I'm like kind of ready to see the shit animated already that I'm excited to see animated. But other than that, man, I would give this a solid episode rating. 164. It was real good. It was real cool. It was another developmental episode for Boruto. And let's just see what the fuck happens next week. Once again, happy Sunday, my niggas. Hope everyone's cool. Shout out to all the Boruto creators, all the Boruto lovers, all the motherfuckers who get on this YouTube thing and, spread more information about the Naruto universe. I greatly appreciate y'all. Take care, man. Happy Sunday. Peace.